Hello, I'm Paul here. Today I'm going to be going over trend lines, and we're going to be talking about them for a couple assets for this week. And I'm basically going to be starting with the naked chart, and we'll be looking at the kind of the best ways to draw those trend lines. And like with everything, the focus is going to be on a longer time frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a longer time frame and try to find two connecting points and see if it's actually a good trend line, and to see if we can actually follow the trend line and make money by just looking at the trend line and knowing when actually to enter your trades. So to make a trend line, you have to have two connecting points. So that's what we're going to be looking for today. Today we're going to look at the SPX chart, which is basically the S&P. We're not going to look at SPY, but SPX. It's basically the same thing. Only reason is because I have all my markings on the other ones, and I don't want to erase any of it. So we're going to be looking at it on SPX, but it's basically the same thing as looking at SPY. And I'm going to be doing this for a couple other assets as well, but right now we're going to be looking at basically the S&P500 on a longer time frame, and by placing some proper trend lines. Okay, so we have a complete naked chart right now, and what we want to do is now we can see we're doing SPX. Now SPX is basically the S&P 500. If you were doing this on Robinhood, this would be the ticker SPY. SPX is what you would use to trade on Forex, so it's basically the same thing. So basically what you want to do is you want to go to the longer time frame. The first thing you want to look at is the weekly. See if you find anything out on the weekly. Now, right off the bat, you want to connect two wicks together. So basically, you want to go here to your extended line, which we see one right here. And the reason I like the extended is because it does something like this. It connects two lines, as you can see, on the weekly. What this does is you really see the overall picture of where it could possibly bounce. So you see it touched here, went up, touched here, went up, touched here, went up. Now I could actually draw some other trend lines, but I'm not going to confuse you guys. We also see that it happened right here. It touched it right here, and then it went up. So on the weekly, you can do this. And I also, I see a lot of other trend lines as well, but this is the main one right here. So what I would do is I try to make this more thick, because this is mainly the main trend line here that it bounces from. But I do see some other trend lines here on the weekly. So this may not be completely accurate, but let's just look at it. So we got another one right here. I think this would work. Got one right here. And another one right there, but let's just make it less thick there. So you see another trend line right here. Touches here, but then it breaks it right here. So that's another one, but the one on the bottom here is the main one. So you would definitely want to go by this one. So you could definitely tell. And if we did a parallel channel here, from at least this point here to here, we rose that up, you could see we are on an ascending path up. Now this is on the weekly, so what I want to do here is we got our trend line for the weekly. Let's real quickly look at the daily. And now, since we have it on the daily here, we could see times to get in right here, right here. And on the daily, let's see if we can find some trend lines. So we can start from here, and we can go here, because you see it touches here, and then it touches here, and then it breaks it here. So you could enter here and ride the whole thing out until it breaks the trend line, which would have been right about here. So this would only work though if you were doing it on a Forex. This would not work well for Robinhood. But real quickly here, let's go look at the hour. Well, actually, look at the 4 hour real quick. So if we get our extended tool from here to up here at the top, we have another one, and we could see this is on the 4 hour, we can see that this is going up. We're on a ascending path up. Touched here, goes up, comes down, touches, goes back up. Now it's touching the line again. It's probably going to go back up. And there's going to be some resistance at around here. So there'll be resistance around here. But most likely it's going to start coming up, touch up here, come back down until it gets to the end of here, and then it's either going to go down or go up. But this particular trend line, it has not broke it since April 21st. So I like to think that it most likely is going to respect this trend line. So real quickly, I showed you how to do it on the weekly. That's the line down there. Showed you how to do it on the daily and the 4 hour. Let's look at this more intraday level. We'll look at this on the hour. So I see a connection point here to here on the 1 hour. And you see it touch here. It goes up, starts coming down, and it's going to touch it again and start coming back up. And then there's resistance up here at the top, which I've already pointed out. Now, I would only do this as far down as the hour, because if you do this on like we'll go to the 15 minute, but it gets more risky because the trend lines are less accurate as longer time frames. But you can see if you did it on a 15 minute, it's not going to be in an uptrend. You see a point here, and it's touching here. So on a 15-minute level, it is on a descending path down. It has to break right around here. It has to break right around here to be bullish. So that's basically, and there's some support right about here. So it has to not go below this line. If it goes below this line, it's going to be more bearish. If it breaks this, it's going to be bullish. But what we can see from the longer time frames on the trend lines is that we are, let's just look at the 4 hour. We are overall bullish. So look at this on the day. If you look at this on the day and you look at your trend line here, if you cross it from here all the way here to the top, you could tell that we are bouncing upward. Basically, by just using the trend line, we could tell that we are on an ascending path up. So anyway, that's trend lines. That's using it with the S&P We look like we're on an ascending path up, and we'll see how it market opens up on Tuesday, see what happens. But I think we're going to start climbing up by just looking at the trend lines. Now I'm going to be going over this method with a couple other assets. Going to try a blank slate and look at some other assets. I want to look at this with Bitcoin, because we know where Bitcoin's going, and I also want to look at like the US 30 and maybe some other assets with just looking at it with the trend lines and the extended trend line. But anyway, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in future videos.